Hi there, welcome to Kneppy Invest and welcome to January the 3rd, 2025. Now, before I get into the video, just an announcement. I would like you to pick your top stocks for 2025. You can give me one company, you can give me 20 companies, you can give me 5, 10, whatever you like. So I will release a video dedicated to this particular endeavor. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing this is I've done this over the last few years, and I did get a request. There was a comment requesting for me to do this again, and this person actually mentioned that it does provide ideas. And one of the reasons I actually started doing this channel, well, one of the minor reasons I started doing this channel was to share ideas with you. And I think this is a great way to share ideas among each other. Okay, so look out for that video. I'll probably release that video this afternoon, so the 3rd of January, a few hours after I release this video. No stock of the day because I'll be honest with you, January the 3rd, 2025 might be the slowest day I have ever seen on the stock market in Australia. In fact, I can count the price, non-ETF, price-sensitive announcements on two hands. Yes, on two hands. In fact, I'll go through some of these or those announcements. And because we haven't seen any interesting announcements released today, well, maybe one or two, no top 5 stocks of the day. What I'll do is I'll just go through the top gainers and top losers and have a look or a glance at some of the more interesting charts, interesting companies, and then we'll have a look at answering some of your questions and replying to some of your comments. Okay, so let's have a look at the ASX today before we have a look at some of actually, no, we'll have a look at the announcements first. So this is just in market index. I could do this via CommSec, but because there were a lot of ETF announcements released, for some reason, CommSec's system or platform just doubles down on them. So instead of getting 10, you might get 20, 30, or 40 of the same announcements. So I do actually prefer market index on days like this. So ASX announcements. And today, price sensitive, 37 price sensitive announcements released today. And you might be thinking, well, that's a fair few. But the majority of these are these final distribution ETF announcements. And the vast majority of announcements today have been those sort of announcements. So Imogen released a price-sensitive announcement. First Australian patient dosed in phase 1B ASA cell trial. That's not the sort of announcement that would interest me at all. So is the share price up? I would assume it's up a little bit, maybe. No, it's flat. And so the market doesn't care about that. A company called Ascari Metals, strategic investment secured to advance Tanzanian uranium. Now, I do know uranium had a really good day today. And the reason I know that is because I did have a glance at the top performing companies today. It's just full of uranium companies. So uranium has done well today. And a company called Holistic Coldtech, they appointed a new executive director and interim CEO. I'm pretty sure that company is fairly small. A company called Argent Biopharma, trading hold. Not going to look at that. Red Sky Energy signs landmark contract offshore Angola. ROG. Let's see if the share price has rallied for Red Sky Energy. In fact, it's down 13.64%. There you go. Atura, successful completion of activity acquisition. Don't care. Stavely Minerals, response to ASX price query. I will have a look at that sort of announcement. I just want to see what their reply to question 3 is. So we can actually do that right now. Let's see how Stavely have replied to question 3, assuming they answer no to question 1. And I'm pretty safe in assuming that. And yes, they've answered no to question 1. So question 3, they've just said, looks like they've actually answered this a little bit differently. Maybe the questions are different. No, they've answered this wrong. So they've actually said, ASX have said, if you answer question 1 yes, then you have to talk about other stuff. And then question 3 is, if you answer question 1 no, is there any other explanation that Stavely may have for the recent trading in the securities? Seems like they've answered wrong here. Seems like they've answered wrong because one, they've said no, and then they've got into a little bit more explanation in question 2, and they should have said non-applicable. They just said he's unaware of any explanation for the recent trading. That's question 3. And then they've just said in question 3, they're complying with listing rules. So they've actually answered this particular price and volume query a little bit wrong. Sorry, Stavely, it's a little bit wrong. And more than likely, share price was either up a lot today, but it probably was up a lot yesterday. Up 29.41% yesterday on pretty big volume, 10.9 million shares traded, when the previous day there was only 80,000. So something went on yesterday. It could be just day trading. And let's have a look at, and the next two are just look like managed funds. And then Centrex, corporate update, strategic agreements. CXM. And this company's in special anyway. So you just say nothing of substantial intrigue was released today. In fact, I have never seen a day where so little price-sensitive announcements were released. So that's why we are not having a top 5 stocks of the day. Okay, so let's have a look at the ASX today because it's been a pretty good day, right? It's been a pretty good day. The market is up. We're looking up across the board. Tech down on open, rallied through the day. In fact, all the indices looks like they have rallied through the day. That's a pretty good move. Now, that could be because I did have a quick look at trading economics, and they did mention here, US futures rise after week start to 2025. So that was 2 hours ago. So one of the reasons why our market might be rising now, just because US futures are probably hinting of a pretty good day tonight on Wall Street. Anyway, so let's go back to the ASX today. And you can just see that in this chart. Yeah, beautiful rally. Maybe not rally, but it has performed pretty well over the past 3 hours. And we're talking about the XAO, XJO, and also the tech. Probably commodities as well, maybe. Best performing sector today. In fact, every single sector is in the green, but energy keep on running higher. Real estate also has had a good day, up 1.18%. And the worst performing sectors, materials, staples, and utilities. But they're still in the green. Gold's had a pretty good day, up 2.39%. Go gold. Uranium has had a good day today, and it will show that. You'll see that when we look at the top gainers by market cap. It's just uranium company after uranium company. And the ASX 20 up 0.54%. Do I really have to look at this? Yeah, let's have a look at it. Why not? In fact, at about 11 a.m., the XJO was actually down. Yeah, it's gone from being down to up 0.6%. Okay. So 4 companies down. And which 4 companies are down? Fortescue, Rio Tinto, BHP, and REA Group. So straight away, we know iron ore's had a bad day because the 3 iron ore companies in the ASX 20 are all down. So just because mining or gold or uranium's had a good day doesn't mean iron ore's had a good day. And we've seen that today. And REA Group is also down. And the best performing company in the ASX 20 is Telstra, followed by Aristocrat, Goodman Group, and Transurban. And Commonwealth Bank is not far off, up 0.79%. I just wonder who's buying CBA shares. Insanity, I tells you. Okay, let's have a look at the top performing companies first. Top gainers by percentage change. A company called EBR Systems. I will have a look at that chart. So here, in this part of the video, what I'm going to do is have a look at some interesting companies that are up pretty big or down big, and we'll have a look at their chart. So we'll start off with EBR Systems, some good volume coming through as well for this company. So share price, I actually also noticed EBR was on the top gainers yesterday. Okay, so EBR Systems, pretty good day today, up 17.27%, and the share price has gone a nice little rally over the last few weeks, up from 84 cents to $1.28. So a nice run in the share price. Probably only thing I'd be concerned about, and maybe saying concerned is over-exaggerating, is just volume. I'd probably like to see higher volume, but it's relative. I would say overall there's much lower volume today because we're in a holiday period, much less trading, and not only today, but yesterday, the volume has been higher than normal. So even though I might be complaining about the volume, I think volume, relatively speaking, pretty good for this company. So EBR Systems, I don't think the company has released anything lately. So this could be just sentiment for some reason. Yeah, the most recent price-sensitive announcement was on the 19th of December. and they just scheduled pre-approval inspection with the FDA. So it could be maybe it's moving closer to this meeting with the FDA and market's getting a little bit more excited, but chart looks pretty good for EBR systems. Let's go back to the top gainers. Anything else here I want to look at in terms of the chart? Yeah, nothing really. Now let's have a look at the top gainers by markup, and you'll just see a plethora of uranium companies at the top of this list. Paladin, Silex, which I think is uranium company, well, the company having to do something with uranium technology or something like that. Deep Yellow, uranium. Next Gen Energy, uranium. Boss Energy, uranium. Bannerman Energy, uranium. Lotus Resources, uranium. EBR Systems, not uranium. Imricor Medical Systems, not uranium. And there's Peninsula Energy, uranium. Meteorological Resources, maybe uranium, I don't know. Anyway, so obviously uranium's had a good day. In fact, we could look at it. Let's have a look at uranium today. And I've got to find it first. Up 3.94%. That's the spot physical uranium. In fact, 2 good days, a nice little bounce off a support level at $23. Yeah, so 2 really good days for uranium. I'm not sure what's caused that. Maybe we could search uranium in trading economics just to see if there's anything here. I haven't seen any news anywhere. I wonder if maybe Capital Brief has something about it. Let's have a look. Uranium stock soar after Inkai production halted. Yes, that will do it. Inkai production halted, maybe because the price of uranium has dropped. They've halted production. I don't know why. Canadian producer Cameco said output from its Inkai joint venture in Kazakhstan was unexpectedly halted due to a lapse in authorization from the government. Okay, so this could be short term, could be long term, no idea. And again, sovereign risk. So this is not in Africa, but this is in, what do you call that, Central Asia? Kazakhstan, Central Asia, yeah. And that has been beneficial for uranium companies. Would I be interested in uranium companies right now? Well, I do have a uranium watch list, so let's have a look at that. Let's see if any charts are looking interesting. Peninsula, I'm going to say no. Bannerman, still no. Let's have a look at Deep Yellow, no. Paladin, no. Boss Energy, no. What else do we have here? Next Gen Energy. This is probably the best looking one. What about Infinity Resources? This is a smaller one. More of a, I think it's a exploring uranium company in Newfoundland of Canada. And for some reason, the share price went on a bit of a run the other day. I think I remember that, yeah. Anyway, so uranium, bit of a run the last few days because of this halt in production in Kazakhstan. But again, just because it's lack of government authorization, they could get authorization tomorrow, or they could get authorization 2 days time, or next week, next month, a year from now, 5 years from now. We don't know. Anyway, anything else here of note? SPC Global again up 6%. Seems like $1 is a nice little support level for SPC Global. SKS Technologies up 6.1%. Let's have a look at the chart for that one. No, we had a look at the chart for SKS Technologies when I went through my holdings the other day. The other one I probably want to look at here is Imricor, IMR. This one has been on the move lately, and it's still moving up. Another nice looking chart. I think I did discuss this company the other day. This would have been on December the 30th. It came in at number 2 in stocks of the day. Okay, let's have a look at the top losers. So other than that, nothing much here. Let's have a look at the top losers today. See if there's anything interesting in this. Hello, Bisalloy Steel. What's happening there? Down 11.8%. They did not release anything because we went through the announcements. They did not release anything today. Maybe something's happening with steel prices. Share price has dropped. Let's see if there's anything in Capital Brief. I don't think so. Oh, Javoy Global to delist from ASX. Weebit Nano shares plunge. That was yesterday. You can see the lack of articles in Capital Brief that there's nothing much going on. And by the way, what's happened to Weebit Nano today? Has it bounced? Ooh, it's dropped a little bit more. Interesting. Interesting. What about Bisalloy Steel? Why is this down? Bisalloy Steel? Any news? Nothing showing up. Maybe I should go to Twitter or X just to see. Sometimes you do see a bit of news flow in Twitter that you don't see anywhere else. And the answer to that is no. We're going back April, some protests, and then going back to last year. Okay, so something's happening with Bisalloy Steel. I don't really know. Share price has been a nice little uptrend for about 2 months and just maybe a pullback today. But I do get nervous when I see these big red candlesticks. We saw quite a few for this company in August, and now we've seen another one. Doesn't mean the share price will move lower, but that just shows you there's a little bit of enthusiasm from the sellers. So something has caused that enthusiasm, and I don't know what that increased enthusiasm is. Other than that, companies down on fairly low turnover. Archer Materials down again. It was down a lot yesterday, and the chart was looking interesting. Maybe not so interesting anymore. Oh, yeah, it wasn't down that much yesterday, but share price is still an uptrend. It's gone on a big tear, and this could be just a bit of a pullback for Archer Materials. And that's about it. So let's have a look at the top losers by markup. See if there's anything interesting in here. Mesoblast is down, that's okay. In fact, most of these companies aren't down by all that much. So Mesoblast is only down 3.58%. You should have expected that sort of little retracement because Mesoblast share price has been on a bit of a tear lately. Tourism Holdings, let's have a look at the chart for this one. Share price of this company dropped a lot, I'm going to say 6 months ago. And I did have a look at this chart. I have been looking at this chart. Oh, it's about 7 months ago. Well, actually, maybe 8 months ago now. And I did notice the share price dropped on that day, and the share price hasn't really dropped much further from there. So just been going sideways, consolidating phase, and I do have this, or if I don't, I should have this on one of my watch lists because there is a possibility the share price might start moving upwards. Just might at this point, but definitely want to keep an eye on this one because the share price has gone sideways for about 7 months. Anyway, apart from that, Hum Group, Titomic, Vysarn. Let's have a look at Vysarn. I did take profits with Vysarn. It was one of the biggest holdings, and I decided to take profits. Was I too early? Maybe not. It still looks like the share price is in a downtrend. We're going to get a crossover in the moving averages soon. Share price has been going sideways the last 2 weeks. Nothing much really driving the share price higher. If I see a breakout, share price getting above the downtrend line, I actually wouldn't be surprised if I bought back in. Anyways, but this is probably the weakest the chart has been looking for Vysarn for quite a while. Maybe comparable to what we saw at the start of 2024. And then there was a bit of a breakout. Share price was down the first 3 months. There was a bit of a breakout in April, and the share price went higher. And let's finish the chart section of this video looking at MedAdvisor. This one's all over the place. They did release something negative a few weeks ago. Share price took a bit of a hit, and I have no interest in this chart. Probably the more interesting thing about MedAdvisor is whether you might argue there's good value in this company at current levels. Market cap is 124 million, and it does seem like the company would be profitable and also cash flow positive. But the share price has fallen a fair bit from 58 cents down to 22. So we have seen share price drop 38, we'll say 70% in, what's that? Well, since the highs. So we're talking about 6 months. Share price has dropped about 7% in 6 months. And the company should release a couple of good Appendix 4Cs. So I think the next 2 should be pretty good for this company. Okay. So I've already talked about, that, uranium. Let's have a look at some of your comments, because that's it. Vysarn has told us some more information about that company, Lyn. Lycaon, talking about exploring for niobium, rare earths, nickel, copper. He also mentions they're close to WA1 in West Arunta of WA. WA1 share price up almost 5,500% in the last 5 years. Niobium is used in the production of airplanes and spaceship parts. Ooh, spaceships. I believe Lycaon is betting on WA1's success in niobium discovery. Let's have a look at the chart for WA1. This was an interesting chart, but I think it is becoming less interesting. Yes, the share price has increased a fair bit, but I think there is potential. The share price, or the uptrend in the share price, has come to an end. And if anything, the share price is moving down. Now, saying that, $12 is a nice support level for this company. So if you see the share price drop to about $12, that could be a nice price to buy some shares, a low risk trade. You could buy it, say, $12 or just above $12. Share price might go on a run, and the share price falls below $12 by a significant, maybe not a significant amount, but by a reasonable amount, you can just sell at a small loss. Anyway, thank you for that information, Dev Shah. Rick Thelian told us the US markets 2024 performance. Dow Jones up 12.8%, S&P 500 23.3%, and NASDAQ 28.6%. Go at NASDAQ. I would say my favorite index in the world is NASDAQ because I like the companies on that particular exchange. And I'd say, if I had to guess, I'd say the majority of investors in the world, their favorite index might be NASDAQ. If you think about people overseas investing in the world, they're more likely to invest in the NASDAQ, maybe S&P 500, Dow Jones, but definitely the NASDAQ. It draws in people from all around the world. And I don't think any other indices can really say that. Paul Cyberus, when you buy shares in a company, do you need to do it gradually? Oh, no. Do you tend to do it gradually or in a single large transaction? Historically, I usually do it in a single large transaction. I make a decision and I buy my allotment of shares. On occasion, I will add to my position. That's fairly rarely, but I have started to do a little bit more of the former, and that is take initial position in. This is definitely true when it comes to trading. Maybe not my other portfolio, which is quality companies wanting to hold for the long term. I usually will buy those companies at the my allotment of shares at that point in time. What I want anyway. But when it comes to trading, I have added to my position when I do see further confirmation the share price of a company is an uptrend. For instance, if they release another positive announcement, I will add to my position. So mostly single large transactions, but I have added to my positions. Not gradually. I will do it because there's a reason why I'm adding to the position. It's not just gradually because it's time sensitive or something like that. It's not like I add to a position every second week. It's just to do with announcements and reasons. But anyway, thank you for that. Poor Cyberus. Josh James Dean should have poured more money into winners. Should have poured money into winners. Why actually, that's a great way to be very successful is if you put your money in winners and you get rid of your losers. But history has shown us, research has shown that people, if someone lost, I don't know what this is called, but if someone lost $2,000 and won $2,000, they're going to feel much more greatly about losing $2,000. So when we do see a share price drop that we hold, we're more inclined to hold that company and wait until it rises before we sell out. And we're much more likely to sell a company that we have had when it's in profit. You probably heard the saying, you never lose money when you take a profit or something like that. But the problem with that is if you keep just selling your companies that have gone up, then eventually all you're going to have is companies that are down in your portfolio. So that's my philosophy is ride your winners as long as possible. Get rid of your losers. After a while, those companies aren't performing. The chart isn't moving in the right direction. So get rid of those and move on to another company who has a chance to move into a really long uptrend. Anyway, Zandia, thanks again for the Kneppy info, Kneppy. Keen to hear your thoughts on Megaport at the moment. I have traded Megaport a lot in the past. I haven't looked at Megaport for a while, and there's one simple reason. The chart looks ugly. Ugly looking chart. Now, in saying that, I can definitely see an argument that maybe the share price of Megaport is starting to move into a consolidation phase. We did see the share price get to a low in early November. Nice little run in the share price after that. The share price didn't pull all that way, but pull back all that much. Definitely didn't get to a new low, and that could be a good sign. But other than that, no interest in Megaport. The company itself, I need to see the company grow at a little bit quicker rate for me to get a little bit more excited about Megaport. But if you just have a look at the weekly chart for this company, it's just all over the place. Really nice trend from 2018 through to 2022. Share price then dropped like a rock, went on a really nice rally, and then is sort of like dropping like a rock again. So a fair bit of volatility in this. And one of the things is whenever this company released Appendix 4C, you'd see the share price either rally 20% or drop 20%. We saw that continually from about 2021, I think, through until recently, because they don't have to release Appendix 4Cs anymore. The ASX says, you've satisfied all our things that we judge you on, and you don't have to release Appendix 4Cs anymore, which I think is a bit of a shame. Okay, let's go back to comments. Mark ZTW1 says duration. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Duration. No idea what that means. Chronologically was a word you were looking for, I think. Yes, chronologically. And I remembered that word as soon as I stopped recording. Yeah, chronologically. So, yeah, so in my trading view technical portfolio watch list, it's all in chronological order from when I bought. So Gentrack is by far my oldest, and you might have noticed a couple of companies aren't here anymore. Wink, wink. So I did sell out of, or took profits in Findy and Venture today. I've just decided both companies, actually, let's have a look. So no, we don't. Both companies just didn't satisfy. There's reasons I wanted to sell, and if I go through my processes and follow my processes, they both were a sell. So I decided to sell Venture and Findy, which is a shame. I've held Findy for probably 7 years or so, and the share price has gone a really good run in 2024, and yeah, just taking profits. Anyway, so chronologically, Happy Now says always really good, really kind words. Happy Now, just so much kindness in this person's replies and comments. Good luck on the shift tonight. Thank you. I did have good luck. Oh, well, maybe, no. Luck is for those who are unprepared. I wouldn't say I was prepared for the shift, and when you're doing meteorology, you don't really prepare before the shift because you have to react to what's happening sometimes. Anyway, it was a quiet shift, but towards the end of the shift, there were things happening in NT. So that was my focus last night, was looking after Northern Territory. So if you flew into Darwin, I did what's called the TAF, Terminal Airport Forecast. In fact, who wants to see a TAF? I can show you a TAF. Darwin. Actually, no, not Darwin. So Aviation Weather Services. Let's have a look at Brisbane TAF since I'm here. So I didn't do this, but this is what a TAF looks like. Yep, here's Brisbane TAF. And I can just look at this. There's Brisbane TAF. I can look at that and tell you what might be happening today. Yep, tell you this is for pilots and the aviation industry. Fairly standard throughout the world. There are slight differences, subtle differences sometimes between countries, but any pilot in the world should be able to read this with ease. And just below that, we also have the latest OBS in Brisbane. So whoever forecasted Brisbane last has decided there's a good chance of showers for the next 21 hours. Yep, the next 21 hours. You also got temperature, QNH, that sort of thing. Anyway, I don't want to bore you with what I did overnight. That's what I did all night. I did forecasts. So I did forecasts for most of NT, and actually all NT. I also did some specialized forecasts for some defense people. Also did a forecast for Dili. Yes, Dili. That's in East Timor. That's in East Timor, isn't it? Dili. And what else? Yeah, that's about it. A good day, a good night, good shift. Thank you. Happy now. Dan Bag says, another solid day for Mesoblast. Any idea of how far off they are from being included in the ASX 200? I believe they're already in the ASX 300. I'll be honest with you, I don't care at all. I have zero care where a company is in the pegging order, in the ASX 200, 300. I know there are some people who think, well, if a company gets included in one of these indices or whatever, then it benefits the company. It's not absolutely true. I'd love to see some research on it. It's not absolutely true that you'll just see some really good buying if a company goes into the ASX 200, 300. So I don't really have care. What's more important is how the company is performing, release of interesting announcements, that sort of thing. But I have no idea. Although, you know what you could do? Just give me a thought. If you go to Market Index, go have a look at list of ASX companies. This will be a list of all the ASX companies. The only thing it does, it also includes ETFs and stuff like that. But this lists the ASX companies by market cap. So all you have to do is know what the market cap of Megaport is, which, to be honest with you, I don't know what it is. There it is, Mesoblast. It's at 133. But you can see above this, we have an ETF. I'm not sure if they're included in the ASX 200 indices. I don't think they would be. So it's probably bigger than that. So right now, Mesoblast is definitely in the 200. And yeah, it should be. I think they change it every 6 months or something like that. So it's up 1,000% for the year. There you go. So it is definitely, or should be definitely in those indices soonish, wherever they make the changes. Reptilian, Katana, looking at last event, 1.7% price from start on ASX Today, but the same price down as low as 40 cents, obviously during market correction 2008 to 2020 or so. Again, buybacks previously may lower the shares in company. I think the word may is not needed. Again, buybacks previously lower the shares in. Well, actually, that's not true, because if they do capital raising, then that means the shares would increase. But why would you do capital raisings and then do share buyback? It just doesn't make sense. And funny enough, I did not have a look at the chart for Katana. I realized I forgot that. Did not look at the chart for Katana Capital. If you have a look at the weekly chart, if you have a look at the weekly chart, share price of this company has not done much since 2007 or 8. It's done really nicely since the bottoms in 2009, the GFC. Share price has gone from 32 cents up to $1.25, but it's not really the sort of chart I would be looking for. I do like the companies they invest in, but not for me. Okay, Roger Dawn is talking about the trap with QPM, which is, what was it again? It's QPM Energy or something like that. They manage the gas pipeline that connects the coal mines at Moranbah. I love this sort of information because I have no idea about QPM. So when you get information like this, just sharing information like this is really beneficial for all of us. Now, the only problem is, if people keep providing information like this, I'm not saying this is wrong information. I'm just saying eventually someone's going to write something here that might not be right. So don't always absolutely believe something that is written. And that is an absolute truth. But I have no reason to question Roger Dawn here. So he goes into why QPM is or has a red flag with it. It's fairly long, so I won't get into detail about that. You can read it yourself. Sensei, winner, chicken dinner, Jason Genova, Archie Luxury, Paul Pluto. I'm just going to have to say yes. Okay. Roger also says CMX, which is, what's it again? Or we had today CXM, which is Centrex, but CMX, which is our Chemex Materials. And Roger they're going to voluntary administration. Roger says the CEO is a past colleague. He'll be taking this hard. That's unfortunate. It's interesting because an old colleague of mine, an acquaintance of mine, this was for an ASX company, and I was really, really intrigued to see his name pop up here. He was the CEO in waiting for a company on the ASX. And I was like, I'm going to follow this company a little bit more closely. And then about 6 months, it was really weird because I don't really know if there's any other CEOs in waiting. He was actually in a CEO as waiting a role. So he was in that role to see how the company worked, that sort of thing. And then maybe 6 months down the road, he would be put into the CEO role. And then after about 3 or 6 months, he just left. And then the company went bankrupt or went into administration not long after that. So obviously, he had the company went, oh, I see some major red flags. I am getting out. So good for him. Okay. I've done all the comments over the last 24 hours. There you go. Okay, so your what word am I thinking of now? I was gonna say goal. No, your homework, your whatever, another word for homework, over the next, who knows, 5 days is to choose the companies you think will perform best in 2025 and then put those companies in a comment section of the video I will release today on January the 3rd, 2024. If you're watching this video after January 3rd, 2024, I've already released that video. So the title of that video would be your 2025 stock picks or something like that. Anyway, that's all I have for this particular video. If you have any questions, any thoughts, leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.